Football Activated in association with Betway.
Do you have what it takes to choose the champions of Africa? Betway is giving you the chance to put your skills to the test. Predict the score of each AFCON game, earn points and top the leaderboard. And you will walk away with a massive 60,000 Ghana cedis. Entry is free. Sign up today and choose the champions of Africa. Exclusively at Betway. Betway, for the love of the game.
Football is associated with passion, emotion, excitement, and dedication. It is played by 250 million players in over 200 countries and dependencies, making it the world's most popular sport. Fans relish the pure joy and exhilaration of supporting their favorite clubs. The intensity of this experience has brought about tears, mostly through joy, but occasionally due to despair. To be a true fan requires the living experience of football. It is not about being a mere spectator, it is about being a participant. This is Football Activated, where we meet fans who are crazy about football.
Slow down.
Going into the 2018-2019 season, a lot was expected from Barcelona and Lionel Messi. With so much activity in the transfer market and an ambitious Ernesto Valverde looking to do even better than he did in his debut season as Barca manager, the 2018-2019 campaign certainly looked to be one to keep a close eye on for the Blaugrana faithfuls. The Blaugrana, another nickname for Barcelona Football Club, is a Catalonian word which refers to the team jersey stripes. In Catalan, blau means blue and grana translates to deep red, depicting Barcelona's home jersey. The Blaugrana were by far the best side in Spain last term. But another embarrassing Champions League exit, this time to Liverpool, overshadowed everything, stretching their dry run in Europe to 4 years. On this week's episode of Football Activated, we caught up with Ghanaian sports journalist Kwame Dwomoh Agyemang, head of sports at Class Media Group. Kwame, also the anchor of GTV German Bundesliga studio broadcast, shared his fan experience on Barcelona's topsy-turvy 2018-2019 season. But first, he disclosed how he developed his love for the Spanish champions.
Well, I think it's a long story. And if we do have time, I might talk about it. It must have been somewhere around 1987, 88. I had visited a friend. His name is Marvin. His father was very great with sports. His father traveled quite a bit, so almost always came back with old tapes. I mean, 87, 88, I'm not sure we had the opportunity of watching some of these matches on TV. So I go to their house and their dad is watching an old football match on the old tape videos that we used to have. And it was Barcelona Stoya Bucharest, I remember so well. And this was the final of the old version of the UEFA Champions League. It was known as the European Champions Cup at the time. Now, one thing that fascinated me about the game was there was no goal in the game. The game went to penalties. Now, there was a goalkeeper for Steaua Bucharest whose name was Helmut Dukadam. He saved virtually all of Barca's penalties in that match. Barca could not score, I think, even one goal. But I liked what I saw about them. And then I saw something that I think drew me to the club. Meske een club. I asked Mr. Larsing, that's Marvin's father, what that meant. And he said, more than a club. And I was like, okay, more than a club, but it's just one club. So the conversation went on and on and on and on. And I think from that point in time, my love for the club started building.
Every fan experiences good times and bad times supporting their beloved club. While everyone enjoys the happy moments, some fans are barely able to absorb the shock of disappointment. So we asked Kwame what have been some of the highs and lows that have stuck out during his time supporting Barca.
maybe the very first time Barca won the old format of the European Champions League, which was then known as the European Cup. We played Sampdoria in the final. It had gone to extra time at Wembley. I just could not see where our goal was going to be coming from. But then again, it had to be, probably one of the best set pieces takers I've seen all my life. Ronald Koeman. Not too many people remember that he played for Barcelona. I mean, he scored that goal against Sampdoria in extra time. What a goal that was. And I think because it was the first, I would say probably one of my happiest days as a Barca fan. I recall very vividly when we lost the European Cup Winners' Cup to Manchester United in 1991. I was only 10. But I recall the circumstances under which we lost. United scored 2, and then we got a goal late in the game from Ronald Koeman, I think. We couldn't get that all-important equalizer. It was a very painful moment for me, I recall, at the time. And then probably in 2008, incidentally, we lost to Manchester United again in the UEFA Champions League semi-final. The first leg had ended 0-0. I was so confident we could travel to Old Trafford and do something, but I remember Paul Scholes scored that all-important goal at Old Trafford to deny Barca an appearance in the final. There are quite a number, but I'm sure these two come to mind.
Having won almost all of the major European trophies, Barcelona has cemented itself as one of the best football clubs in the world. Quite naturally, a lot of legendary footballers have played for the club over the decades. Lionel Messi can be described without question as the best footballer Barcelona has ever produced, but is he Kwame's favorite player of all time?
Ooh, I'm sure for a lot of people it will be very easy to say Lionel Messi. I mean, for what he's done for the club, for the trophies he's helped us to win, it's almost easy to say that. He is, and I'm sure for my generation, or maybe the generation just under me, it will be easy to say Lionel Messi, but maybe strangely for me it's not. For me, it probably has to either be Romario or Michael Laudrup. Michael Laudrup, because he did what I saw Ronaldinho do just a bit. Michael Laudrup was the first player I saw who could look left and give a pass to the right. He was the first player who could give you that kind of pass where you just really, that kind of thing. Of course, in those days, there wasn't too much of European action on television. But then again, I would thank Mr. Lawson so much. Because of him, I got to see all these games. And I recall loads of games I've watched of Michael Laudrup. And with the greatest respect to Lionel Messi, I would probably go for Michael Laudrup and maybe possibly Romario as well. Because, I mean, this was a time where Barca were not as dominant as it is today. And it was very difficult to win anything in those days because there was quality everywhere. He, together with Romario, did quite a lot for us in the early 90s. And maybe that's where my love for the club kind of like developed around that time. I still have those fond memories of the two playing together.
Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have proven themselves time and again why they are two of the greatest footballers of all times. The duo, 5-time Ballon d'Or winners, have been incredible in front of goal over the past decade, ruling world football with their unbelievable consistency. Messi, now captain of Barca, has 579 goals to his name and scores on average 0.97 per 90 minutes. Meanwhile, Ronaldo, who switched Real Madrid for Juventus last summer, has 586 goals and scores on average 0.84 per 90 minutes. With both players smashing way past 500 goals and closing in on 600, they are definitely in a league of their own. So what does Kwame make of the duo, and who is his greatest player of all time?
I didn't have to get into those debates, but for me, this is my thing. Messi is gifted, absolutely no doubt about it. Ronaldo has learned to play the game and has improved in all facets. But you watch Messi play and you realize that everything he does comes naturally. He doesn't have to practice over and over and over again to do some of the things he does. It's just instinct like that. And for me, I prefer instinct over. I mean, football is artistic in my opinion. So I would go with the school that would love to see a lot more artistic action on the pitch rather than, great hard work, which is not bad in itself, but I'll choose Messi any day.
Barca's season kicked off with a 2-1 Super Cup win over Sevilla, followed by 4 consecutive La Liga victories over Alaves, Valladolid, SD Huesca and Real Sociedad. This promising start to a campaign was topped off with a 4-0 win in the opening Champions League game against PSV, which was a much-needed 3 points in a tough group also consisting of Inter Milan and Tottenham Hotspur. Many Barca fans were convinced this could be the year of dominance both domestically and continentally. Did Kwame share this general sentiment around the club?
After what happened, especially in the season before that, where we had gone 4-1 up against Roma, and then for some strange reason we blew it at the Stadio Olimpico when we lost 3-0 against them. The last thing I was looking forward to seeing was to us take, if you like, a healthy lead in the game and blow it again. So I'm sure you do remember the game I'm talking about now. It was unbelievable that we would take a 4-1 lead against a 3-0 lead, if you like, against Liverpool, and for some inexplicable reasons we end up losing by 4. It's been very difficult for that result to sink in, but I'm sure these things, they wouldn't happen every day. It was pretty sad for me. I'd seen both games and I thought over 2 legs we probably deserved to qualify, but well, sometimes these things happen.
Do you have what it takes to choose the champions of Africa? Betway is giving you the chance to put your skills to the test. Predict the score of each AFCON game, earn points and top the leaderboard. And you will walk away with a massive 60,000 Ghana cedis. Entry is free. Sign up today and choose the champions of Africa. Exclusively at Betway. Betway, for the love of the game.
There were several pivotal points in Barcelona's 2018-2019 season. A 5-1 win over Real Madrid in the El Clasico at Camp Nou. A 4-0 win away at local rivals Espanyol. Messi's hat-trick, heroics against Sevilla, and many others. So we asked Kwame, when, in his opinion, was Barca's pivotal moment last term?
It must have been that second leg against Liverpool. If we had won, I can confidently say that Barca would have done a treble last season. Absolutely no doubts about that, especially after what transpired in the first leg. I could just tell from that point that we're in for a treble. We hadn't done the treble since 2015 under Luis Enrique. So all of a sudden we had a very fine opportunity to do that. Let's not forget, Ernesto Valverde had done the double only the season before, but had blown it up against Roma, and we thought that this was a very fine opportunity for him to have done the treble. But after we blew that opportunity against Liverpool, our season virtually collapsed.
At the end of the season, Barcelona won their 26th La Liga crown, the second under Ernesto Valverde. Lionel Messi was once again the top scorer in a league campaign that saw them lose just 3 games and score more goals than any other team. Despite this, many consider the season a fiasco, owing to a dramatic Champions League semi-final elimination to Liverpool, as well as a loss in the Copa del Rey final to Valencia. What was Kwame's assessment of the season, ranging from results to player performance?
Well, then again, with the La Liga, at some point I knew we were going to win it. We were taking a commanding lead at that point, and it appeared that every time we played in a La Liga game, for whatever reason, we seem to put in our best. Apart from a blip somewhere around November, if I do recall. I mean, we're that consistent when we play the league. But for whatever reason, I mean, after that suffocation against Liverpool, you could just tell from the body language of the players that, I mean, everything was gone. I mean, by that time, we had already won the league, so there wasn't much there to play for. But going into that Copa del Rey final against Valencia, having witnessed what had transpired in the game against Liverpool, it was going to take something very extraordinary to get the players into that kind of mood again, that kind of hunger to go out there and win. So I wasn't surprised we lost to Valencia.
Barca scored 138 goals in the 2018-2019 campaign, from simple tap-ins to authentic work of arts, all of which you would like to watch over and over again. Kwame named his top 3 goals of the season.
Oof. Well, that will be... I remember a very fine individual goal by Lionel Messi, that free kick against Liverpool. Everybody will be talking about it for years to come, I'm sure. And I remember another fine team goal against Spurs of London in the UEFA Champions League. Messi finished it off. It was just a brilliant, team, passing goal. And then possibly that goal by Ousmane Dembele against Spurs in London. I think that game was in Barcelona, that 1-1 game. What a fine individual goal that was. I mean, there were so many goals, but these 3 would come to mind.
The possibility of a summer shakeup at Barcelona has heightened, with Ernesto Valverde's future thrown into further doubt. At a point last season, Barcelona looked on course for a superb treble-winning campaign, only to see the Champions League and Copa del Rey go up in smoke. Barca have been busy so far on transfer market, signing Neto and French superstar Antoine Griezmann. A possible return for Neymar from PSG has been a subject of intense speculation, with Lionel Messi reportedly keen on a reunion with his Brazilian friend and former teammate. What does Kwame think of Barca transfer activities so far?
You don't have to eat because everyone is eating, especially if you're not hungry. I mean, you're not going to be doing that to please anyone, isn't it? I mean, you're buying because of what you think are your plans in the short, the medium, and the long term. There's a reason why Real Madrid are buying, because over the last season they were that poor, and certain players are obviously not the same kind of players. You need some bit of competition in the team, having won 3 straight Champions League under Zinedine Zidane. So it's understandable why they are buying. But then again, if you look at my profiling of the team that we have at the moment, the fact that Real are buying doesn't mean that Barca should also buy. It looks like in every position we have a world-class player, in my opinion. So Antoine Griezmann is coming. Obviously, he's going to help with our attacking options. But I think that in virtually every department, we're good to go.
Barcelona start the new campaign as favourites to defend their Spanish title, but they will be desperate for greater success in Europe this time around. Ernesto Valverde's record in La Liga as Barcelona coach is a fantastic one, although he is yet to really come up against a consistently firing Real Madrid side. His European record clearly leaves much to be desired, and his style of play has also come under immense criticism from the Barca fans, who have been spoiled with winning trophies over the past few years. According to Kwame, Barca fans should be optimistic ahead of the new season, which kicks off in August.
Again, I mean, that is what the fans would love to see. I mean, with the team that we have, it's weird, it's strange to think that Barca haven't won the Champions League in the last 5 years. And if you look at the circumstances under which the team has failed to progress beyond the quarter-final stage from 2016 to 2018, and then the semi-final stage to Liverpool. 2016, how we lost to Atletico Madrid, I'm still struggling to get my head over it. In 2017, how we lost very badly in that first leg against Juventus. Again, I'm still struggling to get over it. In 2018, how we lost to Roma in that quarter-final. In 2019, how we lost to Liverpool. These were teams that were set out to go as far as possible in the competition. But for some strange reason, we just blew it, in my opinion. I think that Valverde knows he has only this season to do that, because at this point his contract was only per the terms of the contract. If the club was okay, they were going to give him a 1-year extension after 2 years, and that was activated. So his contract is just for this season. Technically, that is what he means, and he knows he's already won the La Liga twice. He's done the Copa del Rey. What the fans really want is the UEFA Champions League. With the quality that we have, 5 years without winning the Champions League would be unacceptable.
Do you have what it takes to choose the champions of Africa? Betway is giving you the chance to put your skills to the test. Predict the score of each AFCON game, earn points and top the leaderboard. And you will walk away with a massive 60,000 Ghana cedis. Entry is free. Sign up today and choose the champions of Africa. Exclusively at Betway. Betway, for the love of the game. Do you have what it takes to choose the champions of Africa? Betway is giving you the chance to put your skills to the test. Predict the score of each
On Football Activated, we don't want to hear you brag about how much you know your club. You need to prove it. Time for Football Activated Trivia. Question 1. In which year was Barcelona founded?
1899.
November 29th, 1899 is correct. Question 2. Who is the all-time leading goal scorer for Barcelona?
Lionel Messi.
That's correct, Lionel Messi. Question 3. How many La Liga titles has Barcelona won?
25.
Sorry, Kwame, the answer is 26. Question 4. Who is the assistant coach or manager for Barcelona?
Oh, you got me there. My focus has always been on Ernesto Valverde. Forgive.
Better luck next time. John Aspiazu is the correct answer. Question 5. What was the score between Barcelona and Valencia in the Copa del Rey final?
Oh, that was a painful 2-1 loss.
Well done. 1-2 is correct. You had 3 out of 5 correct. Well done, Kwame. And that's all for this week's episode of Football Activated. Do you consider yourself to be a true fan? Well, visit our social media pages. You might be next on Football Activated.